This is the core architecture of our Cyberize Agentic Automation system. At the center, we've got N8N acting as the orchestrator, listening on port 5678. It receives requests from any frontend, Next.js, Postman, or Streamlit. These requests are routed to our agent connection wrapper on port 8080, which handles session logic and prompt assembly. From there, we execute agent bundles, isolated services running on port 8000, and pass along any necessary context. Cloud storage acts as the shared memory space, syncing and distributing context to all the agentic bundles. This modular design makes it easy to scale, debug, customize, and version control our agentic intellectual properties. At the same time, when it comes to client deployment, we simply hook up clients' data to their corresponding services like Google Docs, emails, etc. via their own N8N modules using their credentials and connect our agents over HTTP modules that are sitting in cloud. In case the client fails to pay for our services, we simply stock our agent connection wrappers and lights out. The full N8N automation will remain in N8N but will stop working. We are going to build a proof of concept based on this architecture. The previous architecture has a larger vision in mind, a scalable modular architecture designed to handle complex multi-agent workflows. At the heart of this system is N8N, our data ingestion and syncing workflow. This stands separately from all other workflows. Its only job is to keep the client data up to date for all other agentic workflows. It connects seamlessly with sources like Google Docs, Sheets, and Gmail, ingesting data and syncing them to cloud storage, triggered by file update events by us or clients. This data becomes part of a shared memory layer, used across multiple agents and workflows. Each agent workflow has its own frontend, its own connection wrapper, and a unique agent bundle. Wrapper 1 talks to bundle 1. Wrapper 2 talks to bundle 2. Each is isolated but coordinated. Now here's where it gets powerful. Agent instructions and context are decoupled, stored in GCS, allowing instructions to be updated or swapped without redeploying the agents themselves. Downstream, each agent feeds back into N8N, where we can sync with third-party services like Slack, Dropbox, or WordPress, closing the automation loop. By the way, these are just examples. These can be replaced by any other services. This is where N8N shines. Here we are tapping into the best of both worlds. N8N and Google's Agent Development Kit. This setup enables dynamic orchestration, custom prompts for each client, versioned instructions per workflow, independent scaling per agent. It's not just automation, it's agentic intelligence at scale. Okay, all that being said, in this video, I'll be documenting a proof of concept that was built to connect a Streamlit frontend to N8N at port 5678 over a webhook, which will talk to our connection wrapper at port 8080 that will take us to our first ADK Agent Bundle at port 8000, where we will be able to talk to 3 agents. 1. Greeting agent, a funny agent who greets you with a joke or two. 2. A calculator agent. 3. Jarvis agent, who is ready to serve Tony Stark. So, let's get started. Okay, this is my ADK rig with 3 simple agents. This is the greeting agent with a light-hearted sense of humor. Let's look at the calc agent next. This is the calculator agent. The main difference is Google's built-in code execution tool it is using to do the calculations. Next, let's look at Jarvis agent. This is Jarvis agent. Besides the Tony Stark-related instructions, it is also using Google's built-in search tool. That's all about the agents. Let's look at the cloud deploy script next. Even though that's not relevant to this video, let's look at it anyway for the sake of documentation. This is my ADK deployment script. This guy deploys my ADK Agent Bundle to the cloud using Cloud Run. One thing to notice is that service name. That's 'cause if you don't change that name, Google will always give you the same URL after the deployment. Now let's look at the Docker file. This is the Docker file that my deployment script uses to deploy in the cloud. Important thing to look at is that ADK API server command. That's what deploys your agent bundle as an API endpoint, which our agent wrapper will talk to. If you use ADK Web instead, you'll get a nice Google-made GUI chat system, which is very helpful for debugging and testing. I don't recommend it for deployments. Alright, now that we covered our ADK Agent Bundle on port 8000, let's go look at our Agent Connection Wrapper. Now, remember, this one not only connects N8N to our Agent Bundle, but also hooks up any other frontend, like Streamlit, Next.js, etc. directly. We don't always have to connect to N8N if we don't need it. N8N only helps us connect to third-party services, because that's what it's best at. That said, let's look at the wrapper code. Okay, this is our Agent Connection Wrapper. 3 main things to watch here. 1. The agent registry. This is where we list out all our agents in the bundle. 2. The endpoint, /run agent. This where we make the call to the wrapper. 3. The input data structure. This is the data set we're sending to our agent bundle. Now remember this. This is our wrapper, so we can send whatever we like into it. For example, soon I'll be sending one extra data item called context to this wrapper, and that context will be added to our request.message. That way, instead of RAG or Retrieval Augmented Generation, we will be able to use CAG or Cache Augmented Generation, which is faster and more accurate than RAG. The rest of the script is pretty much parsing logic that helps us get to the AI agent replies. Next, we'll see how we find out about the reply data structure. Yup, this is the best way to find out the ADK Agent Bundle reply data structure. Simply start your agent bundle with ADK Web command. Google gives us this nice web interface that we can use for testing, debugging, and troubleshooting. The event panel on the left will show us the JSON data structure that we need to parse to get our agent's reply message. Next, we'll see how we test the wrapper endpoint with Postman. Yup, this is how we tested our Agent Connection Wrapper against the ADK Agent Bundle. Look at the URL endpoint, the body JSON data, and the agent response. Let's see what's next. Alright, so far we covered Agent Bundle and Agent Connection Wrapper. Let's look at our N8N workflow next. Here we go. This is what our N8N workflow looks like. We have 5 modules all lined up here. 1. Our webhook that connects us to world. 2. Code Node 1 simply does data formatting for our HTTP module. 3. Our HTTP module. This guy makes the call to our ADK connection wrapper, thus connecting us to our ADK agent bundle. 4. Code Node 2 does the same, data formatting for our webhook respond module. 5. The webhook respond module, which sends the reply back to our main webhook, completing the circle. That's the reason we can see our agent reply on our front-end apps. All that said, let's go next. Alright, so far we've covered Agent Bundle, Agent Connection Wrapper, and the N8N workflow. Now let's look at the Streamlit front-end code. Okay, this is what our Streamlit front-end code looks like. 2 most important things to notice here are: 1. The webhook URL. This is what we get from our N8N workflow. 2. The payload. This is the data we send to our N8N, thus to our agent wrapper. With that, let's go see our Streamlit Agentic Chatbot in action. Look at the beauty. Here we're talking to 3 different agents using the same webhook from N8N. At the top, you see our funny guy, greeting agent. In the middle, our calculator agent doing maths. And last but not least, our Jarvis agent talking to Tony Stark, giving his Google search report. Now let's go analyze our N8N modules in detail. Oh yeah, try to remember that last Jarvis response. Here we go. Look at our last successful workflow execution. 100% done. Now let's look at all the modules, one at a time, starting with that webhook module. This is the N8N webhook our Streamlit frontend is connecting to. Look at the last question we asked our Jarvis agent. This is only the beginning of the flow. Let's look at the code module 1 next. Okay, this is the code node 1. Look at the simple JavaScript that's shaping up the data for the next module. Also, look at the result on the right pane. Next, let's look at the HTTP module. This is the HTTP module talking to our agent connection wrapper at port 8080 on run agent endpoint. Look at the body params collected from code node 1. Now look at the ADK agent reply on the right. Let's go see what's our code node 2 doing. This is the code node 2. Look at the left pane. That's what our HTTP module is sending. The simple JavaScript in the middle doing the data prep. And look at the right pane. That's the formatted data we're sending back to our Streamlit frontend. Okay, that's it. With this, we completed a full circle, starting from the Streamlit frontend, connecting to N8N over a webhook. N8N talks to Agent Connector Wrapper over HTTP. Finally, our wrapper talks to our Agent Bundle and brings back the answer we needed. Soon, we'll be putting all of them up in the cloud.